And welcome to another Texacast interviews. I had a chance to talk to James X Tdf from the Texatron group and ask him about being a TF fan and just to talk toys. This isn't a long one.
That's what she said.
James had family duties, which is perfectly understandable. I do want to say I normally try and cut out any cursing in case you listen with kids or around work. That's what I do sometimes. But I'm being lazy on this one. With that said, this is NSFWF, not safe for work or families. So, as always, thanks for listening, and let's get to it.
Shut the fuck up, Chip! Out on the vast metal plains of Cybertron roamed a lone bot whose reputation preceded him. With his 6 guns at his side and an Energon chip on his shoulder, his name was Texacron.
Okay, well, thanks for joining me tonight. I'm here doing a one-on-one interview, and I'm here with James from the group.
Yes, sir. How's it going, guys?
So, James, first off, tell me, what's the deal with your Facebook name? James TDX or?
Well, X is, I don't have a middle name, so a lot of times I would just put X, like in the middle initial spot.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last name's Torfy de Fortier. And so it's got a capital T, D, and F, and I just shorten it to TDF.
Okay, cool. So, James X Tdf, that makes sense now. Yeah,
Yes,
it's easy. Okay, yeah, I'm James Taplin. And then there's James, and I'm not going to mention his numbers or his letters because I always forget the letters, and so I just call you James every time. I figure people know. I should probably just start calling you Bob Marley.
I used to go by Bob Marley for the longest time.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I'm just here doing a one-on-one interview like I did with Julio earlier, and again, I want to try and get everybody that wants to do this. And so I knew you were available tonight, so we'll get this done real quick before the family comes home.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, so if I drop off, the wife and kids are home, and I got to go. Some of the topics that we talking about.
Well,
So,
first,
we're both looking at it.
first
Go
I
ahead.
want to talk about you. So,
Sure.
what makes you a Transformers fan? Is there a history, or is it just you started off, being a fan you've always been, or just a rundown of why you're a Transformers fan?
Okay, well, like a lot of us, grew up watching Transformers. I was about 4 and living in Germany, and when we go to the video store with my dad, I'd see those VHS tapes of Transformers, and man, I just couldn't resist them. I had that Marvel Comics artwork on it, and just from the first tape, I was hooked. Seeing those cars transform, and I had already been into Robotech and GoBots, and what was it, Grandizer, and all the cartoons that I could catch on TV. And so what Transformers just hit me like nothing else, and been hooked since. And I followed it all the way through the end of the season 3, which was season 4, which was so sad that I didn't understand at the time why after the first few episodes why it started showing reruns of other episodes. And I remember I kept waiting for the next new episode, not knowing that the show's canceled. That's why they're just showing repeats of all this before they just stop showing it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was funny later on in life realizing, the season they cut it short, they trimmed it down to the rebirth, and so as a kid got Transformers as presents, and rediscovered them in about 2006. I remember going to Walmart, seeing alternators, finding the Masterpiece Optimus that was released, not knowing what the hell a Masterpiece was at the time, and
I don't think anybody did.
Yeah,
that was a brand new thing.
Yeah, I wasn't in the community back then. I wasn't like visiting a lot of Transformer sites too much, so but that sparked it. It was like from seeing those in Walmart to let me check it out. What's going on online? Discovering Big Bad Toy Store. And that was right when Takara was doing all the boxed Encore series. You remember those?
Oh,
They had
yeah.
the books. and the cards, and I was like, oh my god! And I was like right when Sound Blaster was about to be released, so I missed out on Soundwave, but I was like, oh my god, here's a black Soundwave. It comes with shit. What did it come with? It came with
Rat Bat,
and came with another tape, I think, but it was sold off, so I don't remember anymore. But it was just from there, kind of snowballed. I was like, wow, I could start picking up a few of my favorite classics. I started buying the Rhino DVDs because I would pass on those. So I was like, fuck it. You know, back then, $40 was $40, and I was like,
Hey, $40 is still $40. I think
Shout
Shout Factory came along and did a big favor for us.
Yeah, very, very true. But so I did eventually start picking them up. I was like, I better get them before they're not in stock anymore, and then I missed my chance. And so that just kind of started. So from there, once I started getting online, you know, I found out about the Transformers, the fan clubs, Cybertron.com. I was really big into that, more so than TFW 2005, which now that's completely flip-flopped because Cybertron.com's always got like fucking pages of ads, and I hate scrolling through it.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas TFW will just they truncate it. If you want to see more of what, you know, TF Source is selling, you click on it. But Cybertron will have the whole damn list.
Yeah.
And I don't want to scroll through all that. So nowadays I don't check it as often as I used to. But back then, I mean, I was all into the toy galleries and just perusing them. And plus I was practicing drawing them a whole lot, so it was perfect.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
that's kind of what restarted it, to make a long story longer.
you do draw a lot. Do you draw more robots, or is it what's your, you know, is there anything that you draw specifically, or is it just all kind of a mishmash of different things you like?
It's a mishmash of different things I like. You know, I favor cartoons, toon stuff that's just more animated, more fluid. Like I draw a lot of Spider-Ham because I run a Spider-Ham fan page on Facebook, but I just love toon stuff. My brothers were into drawing superheroes like X-Men and all that shit, and I didn't care enough to study anatomy to really learn how to draw them that well. I can fake it pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But I don't enjoy it. I prefer to draw, you know, either Looney Tunes, Tim Burton stuff, but my own characters, but in those kind of styles. And then Transformers, which I practiced for like a year and a half drawing. Because again, timing has just been critical in everything. Like right as I was getting back into it, IDW just got the license again. I was like, oh my god, I'm going to collect Transformers comics from issue number 1. And I got right in, and I started ordering them off sci-fi-genre.com. Had them mailed to me because I could pick them up from my local store, but I wanted to make sure I had them. And I was getting ready to move to Austin, so man, it was because of that. I was like, I wanted to start drawing on them, and just figured, fuck it, I'll learn how to do it. It's going to take a lot of time. I'm not going to be good, but eventually I'm going to get a little better. And so I'm decent at it now. I've always been pretty good at drawing, so that's kind of helped. But so. Cartoons and robots. That's my thing.
Well, speaking of robots, is there a favorite robot toy that you have?
That I have. Oh,
man,
you know,
what's your favorite? Do you have one right now? Do you have your favorite Transformer toy?
Well, it changes a lot. Like right now, I'm really, I'm looking for another Punch Counterpunch. I've had 2 that I've sold, and I think I have one in my garage somewhere, but I don't know. And someday, my wife and I are planning on cleaning it out to put one of the cars in, and I will soon find out. But I one of my favorite things in Transformers, and in a lot of different things, really, I love Transformers that are spies, have alternate personalities, like Punch Counterpunch. One of my favorites that I have is Reverse Megatron. It's an Optimus Prime tank with a Megatron head. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
Did you see those videos, the Robot Masters ones?
The videos that you've done, or
no. The ones that from Takara.
No, I haven't.
What? Oh my god, dude, man. TF Cog. They .com. They totally dubbed there's 2 animated specials they did. And it's brilliant. It's Leo Convoy, Beast Convoy, G1 Convoy, or he's just Convoy in the cartoon. But they're all together. It's a CG animated little short.
Huh.
they're all, Megatron, Beast Wars Megatron is getting all these Decepticons together, and Star Saber, and they all get together, and it's just a big battle, and it's a commercial for the toy, but it was
Cool.
just so good. Like, this, again, came out around 2005-ish. A lot of shit happened in 2005. But
Yeah.
this... oh my God.
It seems like mid 2000s is when it really started picking up.
Really
Which makes sense because 2007 is when the movie came out, so that's when the resurgence started coming, and then the movie hit, and then it blew up.
That's I think I wonder if it's because of the resurgence that the movie came about, or
Well,
because the movie was coming about, they started really hyping things up, and the resurgence came.
Well, I would imagine before a movie hits, a studio wants to get people on board with that product, so they're going to start, advertising it, pushing it a little bit more. So it would make sense if there's a movie coming out in 2 years that, business-wise, you want to start getting people hyped up for not really the movie, but just for, hey, here's this toy, here's this thing that you should get excited about.
Yeah.
And then when the movie hits, there's already a strong fan base or a strong base that's interested in seeing this. So, and it coincides with 20th anniversary. It's right after the 20th anniversary, doesn't it? I think that's around the right time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Okay.
but yeah. So there's no one toy that you can say, I really like this. This is the one toy right now that I'm kind of digging.
I mentioned before we started recording, I've been loving Rat Bat. Got the knockoff one, and
That's a masterpiece.
The masterpiece Rat Bat, yeah, and just the engineering blows me away. I mean, it's once it's in bat mode, it's not a whole lot it can do.
Yeah.
But like we talked earlier, it's just the idea, the how they got all these cassette tapes, the same dimensions pretty much. These rectangles, and they've just creatively made all these ways to fold it and flip it out to make robots, bats, panthers, birds. And now they've got their weapons incorporated into them, and it's mind-blowing. And I think that's a lot of the reason why I love Transformers is how do they do that? How do they manipulate these shapes to unfold and create what they're doing? And so Rat Bat definitely. But I did get Sigma L, and fuck.
Oh, that's the bat, right?
It's the Bat Mind Wipe.
Yeah, Mind Wipe.
Fans Project, the Headmaster, and I love him. I will say a knock on him, and it's not his fault, is that one of my core favorites was Ape Face, and I loved drawing Ape Face.
Mm-hmm.
The Headmaster Horicon. Because I would draw myself as the Headmaster guy.
That's awesome.
And I would listen to the soundtrack of Transformers the movie, and it would be like the music when they're in space flying, or even during the battle. And I would picture myself running, and there's my jet, and I jump into it, and then it transforms, and that's why I really love Headmasters, because I'm like, that could be me, and I think that's why I'm gonna like Spike from the Masterpiece Bumblebee set, because that's our first official little human that kind of gets to be a Transformer, through Spike and his exosuit, and so so to answer the question, Rat Bat and Sigma L, but if I had to single one out, Sigma L over Rat Bat, just because it's so much more bigger and he's a vampire and just kicks a lot of butt.
Well, is there a toy that you wish you had bought and you've kind of missed the boat on that one?
Oh man, yeah, dude, there's a MP10. The first time when I saw him at Toys R Us, and I was just looking at him there, and I remember, and I think I actually ran into Dave that day. Come to think of it, my first time meeting him, before I re-met him again, I was like, "Hey, didn't I know you before?"
That's awesome.
And then eventually, I was like, "Oh, you work at the same job as me? Wow!" But
a lot of y'all work at that Apple place, huh?
We do. Apple tends to hire a lot of geeks and dorks like us, and I love them for it. I wish I would have pulled the trigger, because now I sit there and like I had the pre-order for the Asia re-release and on BBTS, and I let it go. And I was like, man, it's a lot of money. And back then I could have at least got it for $100, and I passed because like I've got a Masterpiece Optimus. I had the original one.
Yeah,
And
that's what a lot of people say.
right, because it's and also by this time, not only did I have Masterpiece Optimus, I got so many fucking Optimi. Whether it's Cybertron, Energon, Armada Optimus, all the various the Titanium Optimus, the Cybertronian War Dawn one, and classics and blah blah blah. And so I was like, do I need one more $100 Optimus? I didn't know the answer was yes. I didn't know.
So you don't have an MP10, a regular MP10, but you do have the black MP10.
I do,
MP10B.
and I love him. He is fucking awesome.
See, that should be your favorite toy. Now, I mentioned that one. Have you ever seen? Do you know who Thew is? I forget his name. That's all I know him by.
Yeah, I love Thew.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you and him kind of have the same thing with the Black Optimus.
Yes, yeah, and fortunately, mine does not have the bent antenna.
Oh
like
yeah, because I watched that just 2 days ago, and I forgot about that. That's got to be a pain. But I wonder.
That is like he look like I've got a Mastermind Creations the vintage Galvatron, and one of his little horns has got a plastic stress bend.
Yeah.
And and Eddie's the best, so I let Eddie know right away. It's like, hey, I just got this. It's got the stress mark. Is it possible, that we can do something? And Eddie, man, dude, I still can't believe that he's in our group and just how well he takes care of us. But so right away he said, hey, don't worry about it. He contacts Mastermind Creations. They're going to send him a new one. And because I love my Galvatron, but I know I'm always looking at that. I'm like, it could be perfect, and this is a third-party toy, and I have no reason to complain. But thankfully Eddie's going to take care of it. So I know Thew loves his MP10B, and it's like, it's battle damage.
Yeah.
Like I've come to enjoy a lot of flaws in my toys, and I know we talked more about that earlier as well. And so it's something I'm sure he would learn to appreciate, and something I would learn to appreciate. If Eddie couldn't get me another head, it would be, fuck it, it's Galvatron, hardcore. Its crown's bent, that's right, because he bashed it in some Autobots. But
yeah, I'm glad that we have Eddie in our group. He's our dealer. He supplies us with our plastic crack.
Yeah, that's true. We're thankful for our crack dealer. But
yeah, exactly. What do you think about that? Well, that's the next thing on our little topic.
The family's here. The doorbell's ringing.
Hey, you know what? We'll make it work. I greatly appreciate you being on here, and thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thanks, guys, for having me. James, you especially, man. You guys have a good one.
All right, take care, dude.
Bye-bye.
Bye.